Hi everyone, how are you today? Today I am wanted to talk a little bit about mindfulness. So I'm a mindfulness coach, and I'm an equestrian performance coach, but I also base my coaching on mindfulness and mindfulness practices. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what it is, so that you guys understand better um, how I approach my work, and also really what mindfulness is, so how it can help you as either equestrians in riding or in business or really anything in your life, because mindfulness is a wonderful practice that can help you in all parts of your life. So what is mindfulness? What is it? How is, I'll talk more later about how it's practiced or how it can be practiced. But really it's just the idea of being present and learning to not get so caught up in many different things all at once, not get thinking too much about worrying about the future, or reflecting. And reflecting is okay, but regretting what happened in the past. So it is more about staying present, and what can you do right now to make things work for you, even if things aren't going well. Bringing yourself back to right now so you can do what you need to do at the best of your ability. It's so it's a practice. It's not a, I do this and I've got it. It's something that, you work at and you have to practice daily. And you can do it in little ways and in big ways. And I'll talk about that a little more as we go. But it's a practice, and it's come from like Eastern philosophies, Buddhist philosophies, and then brought to the Western world and used. There's mindfulness-based stress reduction courses people can take. Learning how to use mindfulness to bring stress down in your life, and to live a more calm, relaxed, happy life, more present life, and dealing with the ups and downs of life in a more present way. So it really is just getting out of that busy mind. It's not completely eliminating thoughts from your mind, because it's um, not that at all. It's more about recognizing those thoughts and not getting attached to them, not letting them take you down that storytelling path that we can get into, and where we get worried about things and make up stories that never even happen, and get stressed out, and you know as stressed out as if something really did happen, but it doesn't. But we live life like it's happening, or we get to trying to do too many things and trying to be so perfect at what we do, and get just going. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I came to my journey to mindfulness. I've been practicing, I've had a mindfulness practice for probably about 20 years. Um, I was always, I should say always, but even before that, interested in Eastern philosophies, their approaches to life. And so I had some, you know, reading that I'd done in that, and a little, understanding of it. And then I had some major upsets in my life, like really big upsets, like life changing, very tough. And I needed to go, and do some work with it. And so I actually went to a counselor to kind of help me through it, because it was like a anniversary effect of what I had had going on. And she was also a mindfulness based stress reduction teacher, has a deep mindfulness practice, and she didn't bring that to the counseling unless you offered that you had interest in it to begin with. And I did, and I can't exactly remember exactly in what order things all happened, but I got into using mindfulness help me become more present and work through like this crisis that I'd had in my life, and like learn to like move through it and let go of some of the things that were controlling me. And then I noticed how helpful it was for me in other parts of my life, and that I learned to be more present. And I have a tendency to overthink and worry and think too much about what might be happening in the future, and regretting things that happened in the past. And it really helped me with that. I am able now. I still go down those roads. John Kabat-Zinn, who's a mindfulness practitioner, he's the one who created the mindfulness-based stress reduction program. He has a great quote saying, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." And that's what a mindfulness practice is. It's a practice where you're learning to get better at it, but the waves still come. So I still get waves of anxiety. I'll still start spinning stories that are never going to happen, but I'm able to bring myself back sooner, recognize it, work through it, and move on. And then I saw how beneficial this was because I was a college professor at the time in a major equine program and worked with 100 jumper riders. And I'd have the students in the afternoon and be doing lessons and teaching them how to, be in the barn and, be in business and how to manage a barn and all those things. And I realized that how beneficial it was for college students, for my riders, because, and of course, they have a lot going on in their lives, a lot of change, a lot of, you know, ups and downs, everything from, relationships to, um, school itself to being away from home and all different things. So I started realizing how beneficial it was to bring this practice of mine to the riding so that when riders were so overwhelmed in their minds and stuff, would help them become more present and, more aware and more connected to their horse, because if you're mindful and present, then you start noticing what's going on with the horse underneath you instead of getting busy in your head and distracted and stressed and causing stress on your horse and, cycling, creating the snowball effect with your riding and your horse. So I saw what a benefit it was, and that's eventually I started bringing that together, and that's how I got into the idea of having a performance coaching practice when I retired from the college, bringing in a mindfulness approach. Excuse me. So that's how I came around to that. So, what are some of the benefits of mindfulness practice? Well, it can improve your well-being, and all these things have been documented. It can improve your well-being. It just emotionally, you start being more present. You let go of all the stuff. You're just generally overall more at peace, even though life can have its ups and downs. You just have a better way of managing it. So you're generally overall well-being, and included in that is your physical health. So it can bring down blood pressure, help with heart issues, help with a lot of things that we create that are created by stress in our lives. If we can bring that stress down, it can help our physical self, and it also helps the mental self. And there's even, I'll talk a little bit about how neuroscience has seen how it changes the brain and stuff, but it can help our mental health, help us become calmer, help us to deal with anxiety, that over worrying, that kind of compulsive need for whatever, needing to control things, all that stuff. It helps us to become more present, recognize limiting beliefs and behaviors that we may have. So, as equestrians, it can be, things about wanting to do things perfectly, fears of being judged by others, and this is for riders or in business too, wanting the big, I think equestrians are very much the type of person, which is a good thing in a way, but it doesn't work in the long run, who wants to do things perfectly. And say you're in business, and if it does not done this way, it has to be done my way, and it's not done this way. So you're always trying to do it all yourself because nobody else can do it as well. Or as a rider, I need it to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, I made a mistake, I get upset and create more mistakes instead of learning from it. And in business, instead of saying I can let go of some of this and let somebody else delegate and let somebody else do things and have more time for the important things and have more time to be present. So it's recognizing what your limiting beliefs may be, where you get stuck and where you start spinning stories and where you start getting yourself stressed out. You might be that super duper multitasker, and learning to just simplify and do one thing at a time, because that's what mindfulness is about too. It's letting go. Let's work on one thing at a time. I need to fix one part of my riding position. I need to work with one thing in connection with my horse. I need to work in my business with one thing right now. Then I'll do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So those are the types of benefits, and recognizing limiting beliefs and behaviors. And it's done when you, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit, when you practice mindfulness, you start being more present and you become aware of the limiting beliefs and behaviors. Then you're able to start a practice of changing some of them. So it does take time, And, like John Kabat-Zinn said, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. It takes time, and you'll just get better at it. But you first have to have that awareness, that mindful presence, to have the awareness of what's going on before you can create any changes around your behaviors and limiting beliefs. So there's also been done, maybe the past 20 years or so, a lot of research with neuroscience, and actually a great uh, book is Unwinding Anxiety by Dr. Judson Brewer. And he works with mindfulness techniques in helping people with overeating, smoking, anxiety, a lot of different things. And he is a neuroscientist and a psychiatrist and a mindfulness practitioner. So he has all of those things in there. And the research shows that the brain's like pathways get stronger when you do mindful practices. So the the connections between neurons, so that you're strengthening the pathways, and when you're mindful and aware of what you're doing, you're strengthening the right pathways with the right beliefs and behaviors that help you, better. There's just so much in neuroscience, but that's one of the big things. And they have studied people who are deep meditators and see significant changes in their brain. Their brains are younger, more like a younger brain. Um, you know, there's the recognition in neuroscience that mindful practices are calming and how that affects the brain, and just many other things. But it is research based. This is not just something that people started and it doesn't work. It's not based in science. It really is based in science. Was it developed in science? No, it's been done for years and years and years. But as science has said, let us look into this, it's realized how really it does work. So I brought this up a little bit, but how important is it for equestrians? Well, very, because like I said, I think, we're all can be a little type A, or a little, maybe if not type A, a little always wanting to do your best. So like I said earlier, it's great if you want to be perfect in one way, because you're trying to really be your best and do things as best as you can, but it gets in your way because nothing can be perfect. So you really need to, let go of that busy wanting to do it all perfectly way that equestrians have. And also in business, particularly, I mean, it is a 24/7 type of industry. It's tough. It can drag you down. And so the mindfulness can help you slow down, choose what's important, let go of what isn't important, give you some time for yourself, be your best at what you're doing, be your best with your clients. And it's the same in riding, what's the most important? Where do you get stuck? How can I be the best for my horse? So it really helps you kind of dig in and peel away the layers as to what's going on with you emotionally and mentally, and then looking for those places where you can make changes, and then starting to make the changes. So it's a process, and it doesn't happen. Oh, I watched this video and Lisa said this is what mindfulness is about, and boy, I can put this together and tomorrow I'm good. Nope, it's a process. First that awareness part is a process all by itself. And what it is, it's learning to be reflective and not reactive, because I think it's really easy when we get overwhelmed, like we can do in the horse industry and riding and running businesses and all that, and going so much, to just like, I don't have time for this, and just your behavior becomes reactive to things. Like, I got to put out this fire. I got to do that. Oh my God, what's my horse doing? Instead of, take a breath, calm down. What's going on here? What needs to change? How can I change it? And then doing things in a more reflective way, responsive way, and not overreacting. So taking a pause and thinking. So mindfulness really helps you learn to take that pause. So when I get myself going, and I still do, I go, uh-oh, here we go again. So I take a pause. It might be, doing some breathing. It might be a little meditation. It might be going for a walk. And, mindfulness practice itself, it can be done in a lot of different ways. It can be very formal, and you can do, regular meditation, and it could be, for an hour a day, and you can go to retreats and do, meditation retreats, or it can be really short meditations, or it can be something more informal. I mean, just going to your breath when you're feeling stressed out, just taking a moment, taking a pause, and another deep breath. As I say that and do that, I can feel my energy calming down. I can feel my speech slowing down. So it slows things down. So if it's just learning to take a breath and say, can I be with this moment right now in my breath? The breath is an anchor to the moment. It brings you to right now. So breath is used a lot in meditation to anchor you back to the now. So when you get distracted, you go back to your breath. When you feel yourself overthinking, you go back to your breath. So if you feel yourself through your day getting a little overwhelmed, whether it be your riding or your business or whatever, take a moment and go to your breath and bring yourself back to the present right now. Um, Other informal practices, like I love to go out. I already did my walk today, to go out for a walk. Now, today I did a walk with a friend, and that's still fine because I'm being present with my friend. But I also am very into nature, so I notice what's going on. I'm always taking pictures. Yesterday with my walk, I like to go for my walks on my own too. And yesterday, I was really didn't want to go for the walk, but I got it in. I fit it in my day, and once I did, I was so happy. And then I saw this cute little family of woodchucks, a mom and three little babies, and got some pictures, and it was so pleasant. Just was walking along the canal, so enjoying the water and all that. And that helps me become present. And interestingly, that's what I do my best work for my business. My most creative, I'll have these things that pop up in my mind that are really creative because I've taken that pause. So if I feel a little stuck in my business, I'm like, oh, I want to do, a Facebook Live, or I want to create a new course, or I want to, I need to write this, and I just don't know where to start. I can go out on a walk, and all of a sudden, clarity comes in. It's that mindfulness, that presence of, like, when I go for a walk, I'm noticing nature, I'm noticing things that are going on, I'm being present, with my walking. You can do walking meditations as well, just being aware of each step that you take. And then in that, my mind lets go of all the stuff, and what comes in is the important stuff instead of the clutter. I also like plants, so I do gardening. I have a beautiful patio, so then I can sit on my patio and just enjoy that, or work with the plants and enjoy that. I have plants indoors. I like cooking. So there's a lot of things that you can do in your life that can be a mindful practice. And a lot of people say to me, well, my horse is my mindful practice. And that is wonderful. And yes, that can be mindful. As long as you bring yourself and anchor yourself back to your horse, you like the breath, bring yourself back to your horse, and not get into overdoing and getting caught up in the perfection of it, but go back to the original purpose as to how you got interested in horses, which is the joy of it. And the same for you people who are in business. Now, maybe you don't have a joy in being in business, but you're in business for the horses. You love the horses. You love maybe whatever you do. Maybe you're a farrier or whatever. And maybe there's parts of the business you don't love. But you can learn to be more mindful in those parts and then learn to enjoy them better. Um, and um, just bring yourself back to the why did I get into this, the love of it, and not get so caught up in the doing. So think about in life where you are not mindful. And that's the awareness part. So, and another way you can do this is journaling is great mindfulness practice too. So, sit down and do a journal. Sit down and meditate. Meditation, you can do a couple of minutes. And there's great apps. There's Calm app. There's Insight Meditation app. You can use the apps on the phone and follow a guided meditation. And they talks about how to meditate. So you can pick something. It's be really short. Just get yourself used to it. Start practicing that, and then start bringing your awareness to your present. Start noticing, what is it that triggers me? Oh, if I make a mistake, I get really upset. So if it's in your riding, I make a mistake, I get really upset, and then I get tense, and then I keep making more mistakes because I beat myself up for making the mistake, and then the horse gets stressed, and I get stressed. It just keeps cycling. Or I'm in my business and I make a mistake, or somebody else makes a mistake, and I need it to be perfect, and then you get stressed or you get angry, and then maybe your interactions with your clients or your employees or whatever aren't going so well. When you start recognizing those things, then you can start working on them. So the first thing you want to do is, where in your life are you not mindful? So jot down, do some journaling, sit down, do a little meditation. Just try to bring some awareness to what goes on through the day, and do it without judgment. I did not mention that earlier. Mindfulness work is done without judgment. So you don't sit there and beat yourself up for it. You go, oh, yep, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Okay, good intention there, but got to change that. How am I going to change that? What am I going to do? Or, yep, I worry too much about the future. I worry what other people think about me. Okay, that's it's not me. It's just a limiting belief I have. So how can I change that? What can I replace that with? What behavior would work better there when something happens? So just starting to think about where you're not mindful, and then pick one thing at a time and start to work on changing it. So part of mindfulness, again, going back to what I talked about, it's doing one thing at a time. It's not trying to do many, many things. So pick one thing and start working on it. And then when you practice that, try the next thing. You'll get better at it. And then you keep building on it and building on it and building on it. And what I do with my clients, so whether it's in a clinic and riding, I try to work with them to bring awareness, or in one-on-one coaching, I work with clients to help them find those limiting beliefs, find where they can make changes. And then also have the technical side of riding and the technical side of business experience that I have. So I can help them then also develop, more technically with riding or with business, help you if if you want to work with me. But it's with a mindfulness-based practice. It's just you becoming more aware and me supporting you and discovering where you need to make changes, where you would like to make changes. So, feel free to contact me at lisa@mindfulequestrian.com if you would like to make some changes, and want to do some one-on-one coaching, or would like to have me come to do a clinic or a talk. I can do Zoom talks and things as well, or in person. Reach out to me, and if you have any questions about anything. So thank you for listening, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.